everybody. Welcome to a new episode of the J&J Toy Giants YouTube channel Toy Unboxing. I am your host, JD. Today I'm going to be going over some more Masters of the Universe figures from the newest wave that just came out, Fisto and Evil-Lyn. But that's not all. I'm going to be going over also The Rise of Evil, Keldor, and the origins of Cronus, which would eventually become Skeletor and Trapjaw. So I definitely wanted to go over these specifically because I've actually been trying to look for this since it actually came out for about a couple months now, and they were impossible to find. You can only get them at Target. And on the back you can see you can get Ram Man, and of course you can get Clamp Champ, the Battle Armor Skeletor, Battle Armor He-Man, and Panther. I actually have Panther, but I'm actually still looking for the flocked Panther, which I haven't seen in the wild at all. But it definitely, this is actually one of the figures that kind of dives into more of the backstory, if you will, of Skeletor and Trapjaw, which was, I believe, kind of touched upon on the 2002 Masters of the Universe cartoon that was on Cartoon Network back in 2002. So I barely remember that because at that point in time, I was already out of high school and I really wasn't watching a lot of cartoons back then. So I kind of missed out on that. I might actually just revisit that just to kind of, revisit myself within that world. I don't know if it was necessarily a sequel to it, because the new Masters of the Universe Revelation, which is actually right now on Netflix at the time of this recording, which is considered the next sequel after the 80s cartoon. So I'm not sure exactly if the ones from 2002 are considered canon, but definitely want to go over these today with you right now, as well as... All right, so the first figures that I'm going to be starting off with today is Evil-Lyn and Fisto from Wave 5 of the new Masters of the Universe Origins. Pretty much their re-releases from the originals back in the 80s. So Evil-Lyn, Evil Warrior Evil-Lyn, and Fisto. Now, you're probably asking yourselves, why a new Evil-Lyn? Didn't we already have one? And yes, you are correct. This is the Evil-Lyn that I got from the first wave. Not too much difference. They both have their scepter. They both have the same mold. They're just different colors. Why? I don't know. I think, for whatever reason, being the fact that maybe, this is just my theory, it's not anything that I, Anyway, this is not something that I know ahead of time, but because this one looks a lot more like the character from the Masters of the Universe cartoon, maybe that's why they came out with this one, or due to the fact that now, as of the point of this recording, at the time of this recording rather, the new Masters of the Universe Revelations just came out on Netflix. And that's what is closer to what she looks like in the cartoon rather than this one. Now, could I just be totally off base and I don't know what I'm talking about? Perhaps. But be that as it may, hey, if I have two Evil-Lyns, so be it, if it's part of the wave. I'm not necessarily a completist.
What the hell did you just say?
But, I got this as a gift from my son. Jaden. One thing I will say about Jaden is he is a figure sniper. Homeboy will spot a figure 10 feet away. And I think, and this is something that is kind of like an inside joke between my wife and I think Jaden knows a lot more about my collection than I probably do, myself. Because he knows what I don't have, what I have, what I don't have. Possibly due to, because I always tell them, oh, I need this, I need that. But it's always nice to have somebody looking out for you, because I work 10.5-hour days, Monday through Friday. So I don't have a lot of time to go out in the wild and look for figures. I mean, I'm always online and everything like that. I'm always checking like Amazon. I'm always in my Facebook group, see what's out there. I'm always taking a look at Twitter to see what is the new unveilings and stuff like that. Especially with the San Diego Comic-Con that just passed this last week. There were a lot of, more so I think focusing on the Masters of the Universe Revelations, more so than the Origins. I know there's a Wave 6 coming out with like Stinkor, Beastman. I think there's another Beastman, but I know Stinkor is one of them that they're going to have as well. So who knows what's going to happen. So what I'm missing from Wave 5 is Faker He-Man or Faker. And I'm also needing the new Merman, Lord of Pain, which that's another one. They already have the Merman from the first one that came out, and now they're doing another Merman. I don't know what the reasoning behind this is. And I still need a lot of other ones. I need Roboto. I need Triclops. I need Orko. And those are from like the earlier waves. So I just recently got the Battle Armor Skeletor and Battle Armor He-Man, which I've been looking for like a couple of months now. So I'm glad that I have those. But I'm definitely happy to have these as part of my added to my collection. Fisto, the Protector of the Woods, finally got him. And I thought, and it's been a while since I watched the original series. I thought he was the protector of King Randor, like his #1 bodyguard, but that might be Clamp Champ or Ram Man, but I could have sworn he was the bodyguard to King Randor. And I'm surprised that they don't actually have a King Randor out there. I mean, they had one in the Grayskull series, I think. They had King Randor that was done by Mattel or Super 7. I can't remember which one.
So if you remember, they had WWE ones like you have
Masters of the WWE Universe, yeah.
You have like He-Man, Evil Egg, who else? Beastman.
Yeah, so they had Macho Man, they have Hulk Hogan, they have Stone Cold Steve Austin, they have Cena, they have Warrior, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Becky Lynch, Finn Balor, Roman Reigns. For Triple H, Goldberg, Rey Mysterio. So they have Kane, Stephanie McMahon. So they have a slew of other people that you can get on these waves for the Masters of the WWE Universe. So they use pretty much the same mold. They're done by Mattel. So I'm sorry to see the WWE Motu line go, because after this next one, the Bret Hart, Junkyard Dog, Andre the Giant, and Sergeant Slaughter. After that, it was already revealed on the San Diego Comic-Con, and I'm going to put a picture up on here. They're going to do China, another Rey Mysterio representing Stratos, the Winged Warrior, and Stone Cold Steve Austin as a Trap Jaw character. So heel Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm actually still looking for the Stone Cold Steve Austin and the Hulk Hogan that's part of the Snake Mountain Ring exclusive. Those I can't find anywhere. But going back to this wave, I know this is Wave 5, and I can't wait for Wave 6 to come out. But that is going to be on my list. I'm on the hunt for more of these. Okay, so rounding out this edition of the toy unboxing is going to be Rise of Evil, Target exclusive, with Keldor and Cronus. For those that think that these two figures look oddly familiar, they end up, obviously Keldor ends up being Skeletor because he comes with his head. So you have the chance to remove that head and put this one on here. So, and of course Cronus looks just like Trapjaw, and he would eventually become Trapjaw in the later years. So this was actually touched upon on the series that came out in 2002, and I remember watching a video that was dealing with Skeletor's backstory, and I forget specifically how it happened, but I guess he makes a deal, or he makes a pact with some other evil entity, and they merge together to become Skeletor. And that's how he basically, becomes Skeletor. Cronus ends up becoming Trapjaw, and I like that the fact that they were doing a lot of these like prequel stuff, because I know I don't know if it was Mattel or Super 7. I think it was Super 7 that were doing the Grayskull series. Correct me if I'm wrong. I probably will verify this when I'm actually editing this video. But I believe Super 7 came out with the Grayskull series, along with the William Stout collection. The William Stout collection was actually a collection of figures that they made based on William Stout's drawings of the figures from the cartoon, stuff like that. So they are not specifically Mattel canon, but that also begs the question, is this canon? Because the Masters of the Universe Revelation is supposed to be the direct sequel to the 80s cartoon. So which is it? The chicken or the egg come first, you know what I mean? So I'm glad that I have this. I'm going to be able to, I don't know, I might just keep Keldor without the Skeletor head, because I already have a Skeletor. I actually have 2 Skeletors. So if I'm feeling froggy, I might change it out just to change it up or whatever. But I like that I have this, because I was actually looking for this as well. They were nowhere to be found in Target. Every time I go, and I got kind of a little bit mad, because I saw all these other people that I follow, like Nilda from Appetite for Collectibles. There was other people, I believe, Century, the Mad Collectors, Century TMC. Shout out to those collectors. I believe OG Geek and What's Poppin' found those as well. But I remember specifically watching Nilda and the Century, the Mad Collector, TMC found them, and I was not able to find them at all, anywhere. So I was kind of getting a little mad, because I wanted these so bad, and I thought I was going to miss the boat on these. So, thank the Lord I did not. But as you can see, with Cronus, he comes with his little weapons, which almost looks like the Trapjaw weapons that are attached to his arms and stuff like that. His blue skin, the way he's actually set up, looks just like Trapjaw. And I'm going to put a picture up here so you can see how close and similar they look. But yeah, and definitely, of course, this Power Sword is, and I'm sure this is now canon, spoiler alert if you haven't watched the new Masters of the Universe Revelation series. The Power Sword is made up of 2 different swords that were molded together. One from Saturnia and one from Praetornia. So it was kind of like a heaven and hell thing going on, where they were molded together to make the Power Sword that Assisted would be able to keep the magic in Eternia, so Eternia could survive. And so this is part of what Keldor. That's the reason why Skeletor wanted He-Man's sword for so long, because essentially back in the day, in the 80s, they had half the sword. Like Skeletor came with one, He-Man came with one, and if you put the 2 together, you basically are the master of the universe, because now you control the power in the entire universe of Eternia and everything like that. So that's pretty much the reason why he was always after Grayskull, because he wanted to take it over to get the Power Sword and stuff like that. But love this. So glad that I actually have this in my my collection. Now it's just going to go into my WWE Motu ring, which is where I'm going to be displaying all of my Motu stuff. I'm kind of blending them together, and at least I have a space for them to go into, so they're definitely going into my ring. So we'll be with you in a second. That does it for this edition of the J&J Toy Giants Toy Unboxing. Again, I am your host, JD. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment on any of our video submissions on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Be sure to check us out on TikTok. And also on the description of this video, you're going to find the rules to enter our giveaway that we're still doing right now. Once we reach 200 subscribers, we're going to be giving away a goodie of a mystery box full of stuff, guaranteed to satisfy all of your palates as a collector. If you're just starting off, you'll probably have a lot of stuff to kind of start your collection off with you. But also definitely check out our Patreon page. If you want to donate to the channel, everything's going to be going back into the channel so we can provide you more content. Be sure to check that out in the link in the description. But thank you so very much. Enjoy your summer. Keep on cruising. And Jaden and I have the power.